Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the Daily Signal, and it is dated September 18th. It's by Victor Davis Hanson. That's the man that you see right in front of you on the screen. It says, Western civilization has reached a turning point after Charlie Kirk's death. So we're going to go into this, and this is actually like a transcript of a podcast I believe he did, or it says a video from him. So he said, something is happening in the United States, and I think worldwide too. It's almost as if there were fuel and the death of Charlie Kirk ignited it. It's not a George Floyd moment at all, or movement at all, or moment. We've talked about that. It's very different. It's building up frustration. It's not a top-down DEI mandate. It's a grassroots kind of collective shrug throughout Western civilization, and I guess it could be characterized as enough is enough. It says we're witnessing large-scale demonstrations in Ireland, Great Britain. The government of France has fallen, and French President Emmanuel Macron will have to appoint a new prime minister. There is unrest in the Netherlands. We used to think, during the Cold War, that Eastern Europe was supposedly backward politically, under the Soviet sway, economically stagnant. But since the Cold War, and especially lately, the Eastern Europeans seem the most sensible of all Westerners. They believe in tradition. They believe in borders. They believe in legal-only immigration. They believe in fossil fuel development. And they have strong militaries because they've experienced Soviet aggression and German aggression in the past, and yet they're also having a reinforcing moment. It says, what is this moment? We're seeing it in the United States with thousands of people commemorating the death of Charlie Kirk. There's no tolerance for the usual left-wing socialist craziness, the abhorrent, violent smears of conservatives who died. And you don't see major bureaucrats or generals or Hollywood figures, increasingly, they're not coming out and rejoicing because they feel that they're going to get a big pushback. This is not violent, it's just a collective shrug. And what is the shrug, basically? It's saying we're tolerant of people with alternate lifestyles. I don't know why I pronounce that word that way. But whether we like it or not, the nuclear two-parent family for 2,500 years has ensured the survival of Western civilization. It gives us 2 to 3 to 4 children, and we can reproduce the species. We're tolerant of Islam and Buddhism, Hinduism. We have a multiracial, multicultural population. But whether we like it or not, the foundations of the United States are Judeo-Christian, as they are of Western civilization in general. We have no apologies for that. Sermon on the Mount is a unique document. We also are tired of what I call boutique anti-Americanism. We see Representative Ilhan Omar suggesting that our elected government is worse than a dictatorship in Somalia, which is obviously a stupid thing to say. Or we see Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calling Donald Trump a fascist, as she has in the past, meaning she doesn't actually know what that word means. Or we see Representative Rashida Tlaib just demonizing and damning the United States, even though her parents fled the Middle East to come here. Yeah, you can go back to Palestine if you want. I hear it's very nice this time of year, especially right now. It says, and we're tired of it. It doesn't mean that we're going to outlaw free speech or try to use the same tactics as the critics of America do. But what we're saying is, we're a unique place. We're better than the alternative. We don't have to be perfect to be good. So you can say all you want, but we're going to not just ignore you. We're going to do our best to make sure your voices have no influence. And that's why people are taking to the street in Europe. They're saying an open border and illegal immigration brings in millions of people from the Middle East. They have no proven desire that they wish to readily assimilate, integrate into a culture and a civilization that they feel is antithetical to that of their home. It's always, to me, like, when I think about that stuff, it's like, well, then why did you go there in the first place? Okay, I mean, it's like, you go to a new place, and it's like, well, you just need to, learn our language and customs. They're like, nah, we like our home better. It's like, well, then go back. Like, this isn't a difficult equation here to figure out. Anyway, it says, and that presents a paradox because they voted with their feet to join the West, but they want to bring their culture and values into the West, which, if they were successful, would mean that the West would look like their homelands of which they have forsaken. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It says, but we see the same thing in the United States. We have an open southern border. We're criticized by immigrants that come across. And yet, if we were to embrace the values and culture of Latin America and turn the United States into Latin America, then the immigrants would not wish to leave Latin America to find another Latin America. The left cannot deal with that paradox, but we can on the conservative side. So we're saying open borders do not work. We're saying that if you dismantle natural gas, energy, if you dismantle oil, if you dismantle nuclear power, and you choose to subsidize inefficient and unreliable solar and wind, then you're going to be a pre-civilizational society. Germany was the juggernaut of Europe, and now it's a pathetic weakling economically. Why? Because its energy costs are 4 times what they used to be, and it's not a competitive country. So what I'm getting at is people throughout the West say we've sat still where we've had open borders. We have let in millions of people that do not like us and do not share our values. We have opted for economic irrationalism that has, in suicidal fashion, harmed our economies and hurt our lifestyles. We've embraced critical legal theory, critical race theory, and suggested that the criminal is a victim rather than a victimizer. And we see the effects. And the verdict is in, it doesn't work. And we see that our governments, our bureaucracy, our culture at large doesn't want to hear this message. And we know they're influential in the media, in the corporate boardroom, and in the university. But they don't have one thing. They don't represent 51% of the people. And crowds are now marching in Europe, in the United States, and I imagine what he's talking about in Europe is the Britain rally that Tommy Robinson led. From the time you're listening to this, would have been not the past weekend, but the one before. Says, and the message is, what has worked in the past does not have to be perfect. As I said, it's better than the alternative, and we're going to return to it. And we wish you would join us. But if you don't want to join us and you want to dismantle Western civilization, or you hate the United States, or you despise your particular European country, then you're going to be voted out of office, or you're going to have zero political power, as it should be. And that is the end. All right, so it just kind of like ends. There we go. But yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything he was saying there. So do you agree with this? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.